Greetings and welcome to ruralvacantland.com, where we have easy, cheap land priced 50 to 80% below the competition. Today I'd like to show you a 10-acre commercial lot in Imperial County. This is near the Salton Sea. I believe you can see the Salton Sea from this property, and it's close to Ansbrago Desert Nature Preserve. So if we zoom in on this, this is just off of Route or Highway 86. There's a new casino here called Red Earth Casino. So if you get off the Red Earth Casino, look for signs for Red Earth Casino. There's some trails behind Red Earth Casino, right that same turnoff that goes straight back to this property. You got mountains to the west. I think it helped block the winds, and you got sea views to the east. So if we keep zooming in, you can see the tracks that this land is on, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is a power line. There's power poles along this route here. This is really close. I mean, like, hard to measure close, 1/10 of a mile. I mean, you know, this is really, really close. Power line. See that? Um, that's a nice thing. So the property you can drive up to with a power line right next to it, and it's zoned commercial. So you don't have to be looking to set up a chemical plant to use commercial property. I mean, you can use commercial property to build your house on, and the regulations just go out the window. That's my favorite. You get to give the middle finger to all the stupid regulations and what you want to build on your property. I mean, commercial is very, very easy to work with, wide open. And you don't usually get your hands on commercial properties unless you're hunting commercial properties, because people pay more for them. People pay more for them because there's so many more things you can do with a commercial property that you can't do with a residential property. You want to build a bigger barn and rent out space to your friends to keep their boat there, or their RV there or something. That's a business. You can do that on a commercial property. You're not supposed to do it on a residential property. I mean, people do, but all kinds of things that you can do with a commercial property. Turn this into an income property instead of just something you have to pay for. You just open up your creativity and see what you want to do. So this is the really close to the sea, Salton Sea Beach, desert shores, residential properties along here. Go for a lot more than I'm going to ask for this property. I don't know exactly what to ask for this property yet, so I'm not going to say a price in the video. You're going to have to look at the description below to see the price, and that might change the price over time. And I'll put it on my website, ruralvacantland.com. And if you'd like to do terms or pitch a price that you believe is good for this property for you, let me know. I'd be interested, because this is an odd one for me. I think there's a lot of really nice things going for it, so it's hard for me to price this one. So off to the side here, let's see if we can look at some of these mountains. Here's Villager Peak. If we fly into one of these, maybe we can get a tour of the area. To the north, you've got Palm Springs and a bunch of agricultural stuff that's fed by the Colorado River, and the Colorado River dumps, as it, where are we going? Okay. So as those farms use some of the water, the runoff goes into the Salton Sea, and that's where the Salton Sea gets its water from. It's all from the Colorado River. It used to be dry. Maybe 500 years ago it dried up, and then 80 or 100 years ago or something, the Colorado River backed up and dumped back into there and made it a sea again. So it's over time it's been dry and filled with water and dry. But right now it's wet. There's water in there. It's full of fish, and there's lots of nature that's happening. So if we zoom out, maybe I can show you some of the area. So the desert side is, we'll get into that, and we'll get into the water side later, but just looking at the maps here, here's the casino, here's the turnoff, power lines, 10-acre property, 10 acres of commercial land. Let's go to the internet, see if we can learn some more. So I went to LandWatch.com, trying to figure out how to price this thing. I'm going to keep doing some more research. But just looking at LandWatch for 10-acre properties, the cheapest residential one in the middle of nowhere in Imperial County is almost $10,000. It's about $1,000 per acre. Here's some other $10,000 an acre stuff. I think they're just middle of nowhere, hard to get to properties most likely. But as you keep skipping up, I think they get a little bit easier to access properties, $20,000, $50,000 listings. There's still no commercial ones. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place for commercial ones because I don't usually deal commercial properties. But by the time you get to commercial properties in this site, I mean, it's like $1.3 million for a 10-acre commercial property. I mean, says it's good for a shopping center and gas station and restaurant and stuff. I mean, you're not going to do that on this property because it's not right on the road. So I don't think it's those kinds of prices, but it's a commercial that I think could be used for some business. Let's move on and tell you more about the property and just check the website for the pricing later. So here's the 10-acre square. This funny color to the north and funny color to the east is Indian Reservation. So this property is abutting an Indian reservation, and hence the casino that's off to the east. The casino, I believe, is on Indian Reservation land. So if you go to Google Maps and you put your GPS coordinates in here, you can get it from the description below or my website, ruralvacantland.com. So you get to this screen by clicking on that link in my website, and you get you can click on the corners. You can click around. You can see where stuff is. You can see the GPS numbers. So if you see here at the bottom of the screen, these GPS numbers, that's a corner. I mean, go click where you think the corner is, and you pull up your own corners. This is do it yourself real estate. You gotta do your own research and go figure it out on your own. I don't want to be liable for these numbers, so that's why I want you to go do it on your own. If you want to build up to these lines, you should hire a surveyor. But otherwise, going from Google Maps is a good way to go shop and see about where the property is. If we change it over to the images, you can see the old marker left on there. But there's a 2-track. There's a road that runs the northern boundary of this thing. It goes over and goes a couple different directions, but mainly it goes out and goes out to the casino. There's someone else's house. Someone else made a home here. They probably got power off that same line or maybe a different line. If that line's too big, there's probably smaller residential lines over here that they tapped into. And it goes out, so you could pull off the side of the Indian reservation or off the road, or not the Indian reservation, the casino, the casino parking lot, hike it or drive it or whatever you're comfortable with. Go back there and take a look, see if it's the right property for you. So here's the Highway 86, and this whole area. Let's see if we let's get rid of this. Let's go 3D. I just want to kind of show you where we're at. Don't get you punch drunk doing this. You can look out at the ocean or the sea over here. So the camera's kind of where the property would be theoretically. This is kind of the view. You're looking out at the sea, and you've got mountains off across the sea. And if you look up the valley, that's down the valley. But if you look up the valley, you've got Palm Springs and a bunch of resorts and fancy golf courses, restaurants, grocery stores, cafes and art studios and lots of stuff, and a lot more expensive land, a lot more expensive places to stay. Down the valley, you've got the same weather, you got the same kinds of stuff, but you get a view of the sea. You're close to a lot more nature preserves, and what I love is you're closer to Mexico, because I like shooting down these roads. If we zoom around here and look south down the valley, straight shot down to Mexico. You can go down Mexico Highway 5 down to Sea Cortez, Portecitos, or Gazanga Bay. Awesome fishing. I like taking my boat down there. It's a good little boat launch at Portecitos. There's hot springs down there. Really fun hot springs. They charge you like $5 or $8 to park. But they're on the side of the hill, and as the tide comes up, they cool them off. And as the tide goes down, they heat up again. And so you can go up and down the rocks, depending on how hot or cold you want it, and the tide level. I mean, that's just one of the many hundreds of things you can do south as you head south down the Sea Cortez. So you can shoot off in many directions, have a lot of fun in this area, while still being close to supplies. So I looked up the closest Walmart, and it's a card tosser between going up to, um, going through Indio and over to desert, southern Palm Springs, and you know, north. You can get to a Walmart that is 43 miles away, or you can go south down to Brawley and get to a different Walmart that's 43 miles away. So you're like right in between two major supply centers. I think there's grocery stores in between there. But getting to bigger groceries, bigger supplies, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, big box stores to go build something on this property. You're talking 45-minute drive in either direction. And these are big wide open roads. I've driven these roads a bunch of times. I bet you go a lot faster than that. So, wilderness.net, one of my favorite websites, because you can see all kinds of parks and things around the area. So this property is kind of right behind the Salton City on this side of the 86, and it's butting up back to the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It's this big green thing, and Anza Borrego is a desert wilderness that should be explored. If you haven't heard of it, go look this thing up. If you haven't been there, go take some tours. I mean, you can't see it in one time. I mean, this is like a multiple trip to go see this park. I don't think I've touched the rim of it, but just the times I've been in the park have been really nice. And then off to the side, you've got the sea. So the sea's got great fishing for green tilapia, black tilapia, a couple different tilapia that you can just load up by the truckload just about. I mean, you walk on them to get there, and you walk on them to get out, to fish them. They're all over the place. And the south end of this lake is a big bird sanctuary. Thousands of birds. If you go to the Sunny Bono bird sanctuary over here, there's freshwater on one side, saltwater on the other. And you can see birds, from mallards that are hanging out in the freshwater to pelicans hanging out in the saltwater mixed with all kinds of their brethren. It's a neat one to see. But so I pulled up some pictures of Anza Borrego, and you've got the psychedelic flowers in the spring. You've got the colored mountains. Any good old time, especially at sunset. It looks like that picture was taken at. But it just goes on, just desert scenery that you can go explore. One of my college professors used to always brag about all the fossils you can find in this park, and I always thought he was an old crazy guy. But walking around the back side of the park, especially the east side of the park, especially some of the two tracks that are there, just look at the rocks. There's all kinds of things in those rocks, because that valley used to be very, very lush with all kinds of plants and animals, and it's had a boom and bust history where a lot of the buggers that lived in that valley turned into rocks. You could pick them up, and they are something to be seen. So that's just another tip for exploring that area. So the Sunny Bono bird sanctuary area that I was just telling you about, I pulled up some pictures of that one, give you an idea of some of this area. There's big geothermal power plants. This is a rift valley, right? The thing's pulling apart, so hot stuff down in the earth's coming closer to the surface and heating the water, and it comes up, and these guys drill holes in it, and they create energy. If you look at some of these pictures, I mean, see if we can find one with some birds. Like this is what I was thinking of. Birds. Like so many birds, you can't. I mean, you gotta wear like a rain hat. I mean, they poop on you. The birds are everywhere, but boy, is it fun to go see all the different kinds of birds. This is a picture of the trail that's there. You take this trail and you go up the hill with the other tourists, and there's a spot up here that has placards that point out the names of all the hills, and the same thing is true from this property, the 10-acre property on the other side of the lake. This side of the lake, you can see mountains around this valley in all directions, depending on the clarity of the air. But there is a lot of mountain ranges around, different colored mountains to look at, as well as the sea. So that's a beautiful thing about this valley that people don't usually talk about. Look at these things. There's like flamingos hanging out. You know, Birds, birds, and birds. I wonder if these flamingos like broke out of the San Diego Zoo or something. If they're actually flamingos there. I've never seen flamingos there, but somebody got some pictures of them. Let's move on. Pull up the taxes on this thing. $20 a year. You know, $10 twice a year. It's $20 $0.22 a year for a commercial 10-acre property. That's amazing. Those are some low taxes. That's pretty sweet. I like seeing that. I don't like paying taxes, so I like to see low taxes. If you're interested in this property, go check it out on my website, ruralvacantland.com. I'll have prices on there pretty soon, and or terms. If you have price or terms you'd like, let me know. If you're looking for other properties like this or other deals, there's a subscribe tab on here. Put your email and name in there, and I'll send you deals as they come. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and hope to talk to you soon.